Unhealed trauma clouds your lenses that you used to see life through. It clouds your worldview. You look at everything through those lenses. And if the lenses are pink, everything you look at is pink. And if pink, for example, represents exploitation, everyone who comes across your path, you're thinking, this person wants to exploit me. So if they're talking about something, they're only talking because they want to exploit me. If they're offering something, you get that resistance. You don't want to engage because in the long run, it's to exploit me. Whatever shade lenses that you're looking at life through, because of unhealed trauma, it is going to create additional barriers and limitations for you. So one of the other things, and I do hold space for people with trauma-related issues in my coaching sessions, because you can't escape it. We're in a world full of stress. If it is not a pandemic, it's going to be a family-related issue. If it's not a family-related issue, it's going to be a finance issue. If it's not finance, it's going to be your health. If it's not your health, it's going to be your relationships on some other level. We are in a world full of stress.
We're always there.
Trauma is going to be an issue, right? And then maybe to give you two others.
Yes, please.
So I was talking about trauma, and I've done training to be a trauma-informed practitioner, so that matters to me. Low tolerance for stress. You might think, why wouldn't someone go for their dreams? But to go for your dreams, there are parts of it that's not just about the passion. There are parts of it that require practical steps. There are parts of it that require hard work. There are parts of it that will require know-how. There are parts of it that might require you to go and learn a new skill. There are parts of it that require you to probably access help from other people. And if you're not prepared to cope with the stress that may come with that, or even if you're not aware that that stress could come with that, you might start and then stop. You might give up because you haven't got high stress, tolerance for stress. So that's something that new skills might have to be tried. You'll have to try new skills to get to a point where you can overcome that. And then maybe one last one here is lack of support. That's another barrier. So I really want to go for my dream. I want to understand what is my purpose? What is my calling? Why am I here? Where am I placed on the earth? What contribution am I supposed to be making? But if there's no support to pursue that, there's no support to afford help that could help you to understand that, that's another barrier in itself. And people be like, you know what, it's better I just stay with my job that makes me make X amount of money, pays the bills, put food on the table, forget about this dream. But that dream will never forget about you. It will nag you until you exit this planet.
Thank you for that. That is really very important. So I want you to tell me, what is your process of getting the people from where they do not know what is actually holding them back to where they can be at the driver side of the car that they take it into their destination. Tell me how you do that.
Okay, so that in itself is a process. So where do we start with that? Getting an individual to see where they are. There are many different ways. Sometimes I let someone come in and just sit silently. Just sit silently for the first 2 minutes. It sounds crazy, but I'll tell you this. Having space for silence, having space for creativity, just that space, it allows your inner voice to rise to the surface. All the clutter is gone. All the noise is gone. You begin to hear yourself. What I do with some people before they come, I have an intake form. I have, for example, your basic life wheel, where people can look at where am I in different areas of my life, rate those on a scale, maybe of 1 to 10, to see what they're content with in their lives and what they're not content with. And let's say they rate themselves really low on finances. Maybe they rate themselves low on relationships. Maybe they rate themselves low on health. Whatever it is, they choose, and they can choose to explore a high rating or low rating. Doesn't really matter. It's what's important to them. So they can choose what it is they want to talk about, and we start there. But the thing is, Obehi, it doesn't even matter very much what the challenge might be. When you start talking, you're going to be seeing what you think about yourself, what values you're holding about who you are and what you can achieve, and what you think is normal for you, right for you. You're going to see that. My job as the coach is to help to gradually point that out. Oh, so it seemed that you believe you'll never succeed on a rainy day. You can only achieve when it is sunshine. Or you believe if your mother hadn't passed away, then you would have been able to find success. But are those things true? Is it really true that you cannot succeed on a rainy day? Is it really true that you cannot be the best version of yourself because you lost your mother in childhood? If you believe that, you will live that program. You are conditioning yourself, along with all the other features of society and socialization that is conditioning you. So when you get to the point of recognizing, okay, I'm holding certain beliefs, and these are what are actually holding me back from advancing financially, from advancing in relationships, we definitely have to go further into the nitty-gritty of things. But the main thing that would be stopping an individual from making the progress that they should would be what they are thinking around those issues. So the strategy is to, help you identify what you might want to look at, begin that process, and then we gradually see what it is that you are thinking about yourself, how what you're thinking is exactly what you're living, and then we can begin to reframe. Who are you? We begin to look at identity. If who you're living has not been who you really are, then we begin to look at your identity. Who are you really? When we clarify that, then we understand what's your purpose? Why are you here? And that's when, even more magic begins, because you can begin to create the life to be the person. You have to become a new version of yourself, and then to walk in the purpose and fulfill why it is that you're here on this planet, make the contribution that you should. So in a nutshell, that's a part of how we get there.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's a very important conversation, the one that we are doing just now. Anyway, the next question I'm going to ask you, of course, will have to do with the role of psychology in what you do, because I find it to be very valuable. They are touching key points of what I do. So that is why I'm really looking at it with a lot of passion, because you are touching very key points relating to uh, the core of what I do and our demography, which is the African diaspora, because we are particular as a people, because we are particular in the situation. What I mean is that now we are in a system that is not configured for us, and we want to survive in that system. Therefore, we need to get ready to understand the system first before we can survive in it. Otherwise, we are just going to be statistics, which is, in most of the cases, that is what it is. So it's particularly challenging for us. But if we understand what we are doing, then that challenges can be translated to mean something different, and then we can approach it differently, and of course, we'll get a different result. That is why I find the work very important. Now, because what you do had to do with a lot of thinking, mindset, you did said, and also psychology, I want to believe, because you are going to be decoding the situation of people that helping them to straighten up their thinking a little bit. I'm trying to wonder, what is the role of psychology in what you do? What do you want to say about that?
I'd say it plays a major role, Behi. Um, Behavioral sciences is a part of what I do. Focus on psychology, but I look at the behavioral sciences as well. What are we aware of in terms of, yes, how people think? So that's a psychological processes, your cognitions, and how those impact how you will behave.